Hi, team. I'm Fitz Koehler, your very noisy race announcer at one of your very noisy race announcers and the Grand Poobah of the Buffalo Marathon weekend. And I am here with our race director, Greg Weber, and we're going to talk about weekend highlights from our 2021 event. So here he comes, the man, the myth, the legend, Greg Weber.
The man, the myth, the legend. I'm still sitting here, still alive after that weekend. But yeah, thanks for doing this again. I think this, as we've said to people, this is going to become a regular feature for us.
Yeah, you know what? I like talking to the people, and I think they like participating too. And that's actually what I want to start off by saying is, folks, you can use the comment section wherever you're viewing this, whether it's on the Buffalo Marathon Facebook page or on my Fitzness YouTube channel. Use the comment section if you want to interact. This is what it's all about. I mean, Greg and I, we talk all the time. So we want to talk to you, and we're really excited about all the fun we had about a week and a half ago. So we want you to talk back to us. So how are you doing, Greg? Have you recovered?
Yeah, I actually, to believe it or not, this morning is the first morning I woke up where I actually felt normal. I think a lot of people, and I think that's one of the things we can utilize these forums for, is to help educate people as to how much work actually goes into one of these things. And on the weekend, my job is really done when I get to Saturday and my crew takes over. But I was exhausted. I was sleeping 10 hours a day after it. But I mean, I didn't feel good that weekend. A lot of people that I'm close to knew that. And the heat got me, the emotion got me. But yeah, I mean, right now I feel pretty good. Rode my bike this morning, swimming tomorrow morning. So getting back on track.
Yeah, it's very interesting. People always ask Rudy and I, they're like, oh, you're a race director. And we go, oh, no, we're not race directors. Don't even accuse us of that, because that's an exhausting thought. I don't think people have any idea how many logistics and there's just so much that goes on, not only to putting on a small event, but an event of the Buffalo Marathon's magnitude is insane. And then when, I wake up at 4 a.m., because I got to be on the mic at 5, I can never complain, because I know the ops people either didn't sleep or they sleep like 43 minutes at 11, and then they've been on the road setting up cones all night. So
yeah, my ops team that did the water, the flags and the water started at 2 a.m. and then they worked. When they reloaded the trucks and got ready, they worked until 8 p.m. So they hadn't stopped all day. The director of operations, people who were at the course may have seen him out on his bike. I think he estimated he rode 50 miles on the course as he was checking and making sure everything was safe for everybody. So people work really hard. They really love this race. I'm really lucky to have them, and I love to see the expressions on people's faces when they cross the finish line.
That's the best part. That's what we work for, is that moment. And we had so many of those moments this year. So again, if you're watching, we want you to connect with us, use the comment section, let us know what your favorite part of this weekend was. I kind of like to go in order. That's how I'm wired, at least for things like this. But we started off with a really nice VIP party for the sponsors. Statler Hotel. Oh my gosh, I felt like I was in an old scary movie.
Oh, the Statler has been an iconic hotel in Buffalo for I don't even know what year it is, 1800s. But I mean, it's very fortunate that it was unfortunate the previous owner perished in a helicopter accident, but Douglas Development took it over. They're doing a great job on it. The outside looks fabulous if you haven't seen it. And then you get inside and you can feel the history.
You know what? It reminds me, and again, it was beautiful. And I say that with the respect that it's an old scary movie, but maybe perhaps The Shining would have been filmed in the Statler.
Yeah, it could have been. I don't know. That's a good marketing strategy for it. But, it's going to be a residence hotel. And for the people who haven't seen it, and I think I told you all that you were here, if you go up to the roof of City Hall, when I used to work downtown 20 years ago, there used to be painted on the roof a sign that says airport with an arrow pointing to the airport. So I don't know if they kept that, if it's still up there. I'll have to go up to the roof of the observation deck of City Hall and check that out again this year.
I actually like, one of my favorite parts of Buffalo are the mini Statue of Liberties.
Oh, the Liberty Building. Yeah, the twin Statue of Liberty is up there. There's a lot of history. I mean, we put a lot of work this year. One of the new things we did this year with our interactive map, and we're going to keep it up to date. And we did it for the people of Buffalo and the people coming in. If you use that map, you can go through and see, icons and history. The Roosevelt Building and the Saturn Club. And one of the things I want to add, and I didn't realize until after the unfortunate riots this summer when one of the windows was broken, our federal building has the Constitution etched into the windows. So, and that's right at the start line. So there's a lot of cool stuff to see in Buffalo if you just take a little time. And what better way to do it than running through the city?
That's right. It is a very beautiful town filled with so many wonderful people. So first event of the weekend was the Buffalo Marathon. Do we call it Buffalo Marathon 5K or is it just Buffalo 5K?
The Buffalo Marathon 5K is, I think, the way we actually have it branded. Yep. Sponsored by John R. Oshai Children's Hospital. Really happy with that.
So I like that because everybody else is saying, oh, it's the 5K marathon, which will get you beat up by an actual marathoner. But right. The Marathon 5K.
That branding may change. Don't hold me to that as we evolve. I mean, it used to be Buffalo Marathon, and we've converted that to the Buffalo Marathon weekend, is because it is truly a weekend series now. So we may have to tweak that a little bit, but
it's okay.
When it happens, it happens.
Buffalo Marathon 5K is a great name. I just want to make sure I'm getting that right, even though I've probably said it a million times. Now, we were threatened with rain. We had mild rain, but those people, how many athletes did we have in the 5K?
You know what? To be honest, since last Sunday, I haven't looked at the actual stats. There might have been, we had over 600 registered. I think 400 might have showed up. One of the things that surprised us about the weekend was everybody came with a vengeance to run and a great attitude, but we did have a larger than normal no-show rate, which we were really shocked at given the number of people who deferred leading up to the race. We thought everybody was going to be, anybody that hadn't deferred was going to show up, and they surprised us. It could have been the heat, could have been the rain. We're there on race day, whether one person shows up or 10,000 people show up.
Yeah, I think people are still coming out of their COVID coma, trying to figure out what they're going to do with their life. I think we're, being the very first mass start event in New York was probably just threw some people off, but it was great. Those who showed up, we had so much fun. Meg Spitzmiller, what a fun name. She came. She loves the 5K. I think the rain actually made it kind of refreshing. We were threatened with heat, and instead we had a beautiful day, cool temps, and a little bit of refreshing rain.
It was cool because, as we made adjustments, one of the adjustments we didn't undo was we didn't have water on the 5K this year. So the cooler temperatures helped. We started it with, a guitar solo of the national anthem, which we've never done that before. So that was pretty cool.
It was almost as good as my singing of the anthem at the dog race a couple of days ago.
A little bit better. So, but it was a good way to start. I mean, people were very excited to get back to it. And it was the first large start race altogether in New York State. Let's call it 400. People hadn't been 400 abreast at a start line since 2020 of March.
Yeah, it was a blast. And the people that were there were gamers. I didn't see any masks. I didn't see any leeriness. I saw everyone was just thrilled to be back and be a part of our event. So we got Tom Dinder. He wasn't able to make it because of his niece's wedding, but he's going to come back next year, and we'll count on you, Tom. Thank you so much.
But he says with the date change. So the date, we are not going to be in June next year. We're going back to Memorial Day. So Memorial Day weekend. So the 5K will be on, oh my God, don't hold me to the date. I think it's the 28th. I'm not sure.
Memorial Day. Everybody has that on their Google Calendar.
Yeah. So, I mean, Memorial Day, that weekend that we went to is traditionally the Ride for Roswell weekend. They moved because of COVID. They plan to move back to their weekend. We'll move back to our weekend. So everything, we're back to normal. I mean, that's the way I felt the weekend really summed up. I felt like it was normal. While we were very COVID sensitive to everybody and, we had the protocols, I can honestly say I didn't think about COVID all weekend.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. And the other thing is we didn't all it was normal, but we weren't aggressive about it. I didn't go up and lick anybody's cheek or anything like that.
Right. So the 5K will be May 28th of 2022. 28th and 29th.
We got Jeffrey Jones. Very much enjoy the competition in the half. Despite the heat, it was all worth it. See you next year. So Jeffrey, let us know. I like the way you use the word competition. So when I go out to a race, I finish. I don't know if I'm really competing. It sounds like Jeff might be a speedster. So let us know how you did, Jeff. So after the 5K, which was awesome, we went straight to kids races, right?
Yep, we went straight to the kids races. And the cool thing about the kids races as we look at the weekend, and it's nice to do this recap as I think back to it, because to think where we were 9 days before the race and what the race was going to look like under COVID and, you know, restrictions we had lifted. And I always have to give props to my team because I throw down a challenge and they're up for it. We had 200 kids in the kids race, and on the Saturday before the kids race, we opened up registration. It's free, sponsored by Dick's. We said we had some supplies. We said, let's open it up and see what we get. We got another 100 kids that registered, families that wanted to get out there with their kids and, you know, enjoy some fresh air and some togetherness. So yeah, it all worked out. It all worked out great. I mean, the kids race is one of the best events of the weekend. I love it.
So much fun, and definitely a spectator event. And I always say, if you don't have kids, come out. But for the parents who do come out, you know, it's important to realize that it's not just a fun Saturday morning out with the kids. This is the type of thing that sets your child up for an entire life of athletic adventure, and they will continue to pursue those adventures if you trigger them early. So
well, excuse me, if we jump back to the 5K for a second, I mean, when we look at Saturday and the way Saturday has evolved over the years, you know we have Sunday and the half and the full and people that have trained. Saturday has become very much a family day for the weekend. You know, the 5K, as we look at the kids race, which is what, 3 to 8. I mean, we've had kids as young as 4 or 5 run the 5K with their families. And while there's speedsters and competition going on for the prizes, there's a lot of families out there running hand in hand, and it's great to see. And, you know, these people, you'll get to Emily later, have graduated up through these races. And now we really have a race that goes, they're not quite in order as you go to the next one, but they do give the family a way to graduate together. And it's nice to see.
Absolutely. No, it's a family day for certain. And you know, the half marathon and full marathon can be intimidating distances, but you know, with a 5K, if you can walk through the mall for an hour, you can do a 5K, and there's no pressure to actually bend your knees and propel yourself off the ground. We have so many walkers, and you know, I always respect the speedsters, but towards the end of the races, the back of the packers show up, and they're the ones who dance through the finish line and show so much joy as they cross.
Yeah, and I had a couple people come up to me. I can't, you know, I will always thank my board and my committee and my volunteers, but the athletes were incredible that came up to me and thanked me for getting us to this point. And it really was a team effort, but there were things that were still in place, the grab and go box and stuff. But at the end of the day, I had a couple people come up to me from the 5K and couldn't believe how stuffed the grab and go box was. I got more compliments on that. You know, they said, this doesn't look anything like a Disney box. And it was one of my challenges to my crew. I said, I don't want any air in it. And they filled the bill. Then that they got the jacket like you're wearing.
So that's where I was going to backtrack to the 5K, because quite often the 5K gets shafted. So the longer distance races.
That's not the word I thought you were going to say, but okay.
They get a tech tee or whatever, and then you know the 5K gets some sort of crappy Hanes shirts. Folks, everybody across every finish line got one of these, and so really nice lightweight jacket. This one I think I'm wearing the marathon, but yours is the same exact jacket with the word 5K printed on the side. If you did it on the 5K, that was hands down class. That was so good. Right.
Yeah, and then they get. I mean, we try to keep everything on brand. If anybody, you know, we do have a method to our madness as we share tidbits. You know, the 5K is really the race is based on the color white. So the jacket, the 5K is in white on the side. And then the metal we use is the same format of the medal. What did I do with them? You asked me to have them. I don't have a 5K medal with me, but I mean, they're really, anybody who has paid attention. Oh, I got to go this way, right? Anybody who has paid attention to the medals, when we took over, we went to a gold, silver, bronze type strategy. So the 5K is, the bronze or copper color medal. There's half is silver, and then the full is gold. And that's how we break things down.
And your medals now are made in the USA. You made a pivot because of COVID.
We didn't actually make the pivot because of COVID. I had pivoted to this company for the relay medals this year. They were advertising this new technology, and I was going to try them with our relay medals, which were a much smaller number. I didn't want to risk not getting something that I was happy with. And when COVID hit, I mean, we were well into production of our medals, and we lost like $10,000 or $12,000 in medals because they had the year on them, and I wouldn't want to get something a year old. So we made the decision, we're just going to eat it and set them aside, and went to this company and said, okay, now we need to redo all the medals. And they stood up, they got them done, and it's great. They're made in America. They're made out of recycled steel. I love it. I mean, I would love to get everything in the race made in America. It's not as easy as it sounds when it comes to cost and stuff, but the medals definitely came through.
Well, I love it.
Kudos to Ashworth Awards. They're great.
They sure are. Good people too. All right, so we got some viewer comments. We got Jeff Jones, second in the 55 to 59 age group in the half marathon. Congratulations.
Hopefully, Jeff, you've gotten your hat by now.
I bet he has his hat. Let us know, Jeff. Bill Cockton, disappointed he couldn't do the race, but with COVID and the border being closed, wasn't meant to be. He'll be on the start line next year for his 5th time. We can't wait to have you back, Bill.
That was a sentiment from all of our friends in the Great White North. I mean, I got a lot of emails, and they just wanted to get down here, and they just can't wait to come back. The sexy Canadian is just dying to get over the bridge.
Oh, Dave. Yeah, we got to get the sexy Canadian back. I think all Canadians are sexy. Shh. Okay. We got Chuck Florzek. Wife and I completed the full. Congratulations. And they're still married, which is very impressive. Although she took over the house record. Wow.
He let her win.
I'm sure she earned it, Mr. Greg. It was the first time he cruised and enjoyed the scenery, fans and surroundings. Wasn't a PR, but he'll definitely be back every year as it's become their favorite. I love hearing that.
Where's he from? Where are you from, Chuck? Are you from Buffalo?
He looks like he's wearing a jacket. I think only people in Buffalo have to wear big jackets like that.
You've got one. I've seen it with the gloves and stuff.
I wear big jackets here when it's below 80. So I just tease.
He's in Florida, if anybody doesn't know.
Right. And Elsa tried to sweep my house away today. There's so much rain. My yard, I went out to walk the dogs. I was ankle deep in water. It's just flooded. We're fine. The windows are still attached. But yeah, Elsa, go away. All right. Well, we're going to get to Fritz's question, but hold on. Let's.
One of my committee members, Syracuse. Right down the road. Just down the road a ways.
And then Jeff Jones said he received the hat. And, look at that. You're getting an apology. I messaged you a big thank you for the hat and an apology for being hard on you for initially postponing the race. But right decision. Well, isn't that?
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. It's, there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people who were hard on me. It goes with the territory of the job, and you just got to go with the people who really get a good experience. Most people realize at the end of the day what's involved. There were people hard on me this year, so you try not to remember those athletes. You try to remember the other ones.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a tough job. I actually try to remind our athletes all the time. I'm in a different position because my job is to just be nice and cheer for everybody. But your jobs are very complicated, and you are runners. That's the thing is race directors are typically just runners who loved it so much that they decided, hey, let me get involved on a higher level and support the running industry. So, Greg is one of us.
Well, that's true, but I think it starts a little earlier than that. It goes to, if anybody on this broadcast, as we look at it, and this is an area where we did have problems this year, is say, have you ever volunteered for a race? Have you gone out and done a water stop or worked on traffic? I had done some little support, but 14 years ago, I was recruited to help with water where there were problems and develop process. And I'm a triathlete by nature. And I thought, no bike, no swim, no problem. I can volunteer for this one. Things went along, and I was never a race director before they handed me this race when our two previous race directors passed away. So you got to be careful. You stay around long enough, they put you in charge.
Well, you're not going anywhere, so we're keeping you, mister. Tyler Bauer loves the jackets. I agree. I could wear it every day. Yeah. Stephanie with some kudos. You're awesome.
We miss Stephanie. She's generally at the 5K all the time. In fact, I actually checked with Stephanie in April, I think it was, to say, you guys aren't going to call me at the end of May and ask to get in the race, are you? So.
But she did. She got in there.
No, she didn't run this year. She's stand down, but you know her husband, Sam.
Oh, that's what I was seeing when I saw the S Spritzer. I thought Sam. And
he was out there doing traffic, so.
All right, Jeremy, moving to Florida. Welcome. You and half of New York are moving to Florida. We're welcoming you for sure. Hurry up and do it soon. I hope you have your house because I think they're all like sold out now. Okay, let's see. Stephanie says, oh, no, yep. She watched the start of the 5K music, everything like no other start for a 5K. Congrats. Thank you so much. We love celebrating everybody. Okay, so I'm going to pivot off of our little path. We have a question from Fritz Van Leven. Do you anticipate any course changes in 2022?
No, we believe the course is going to look like it did this year. I've had some people ask me already this year if I would consider moving the start and finish line to a different area on the course, but that was just a passing conversation. But the course itself, I think the course came out pretty well, and we're good with it until we get the park back at LaSalle Park.
All right. And then after, so we had the kids races. Kids were so much fun. There was only one real set of tears coming through, and the sweet girl. I always look forward to the opportunity to hold someone's hand and run with them. So all happy faces but one, and I think she's a braver little girl because she went through the scary experience of our kids' races. But the diaper dash.
Hold on. I got to go back to because you asked what is great about this weekend. And the weekend for me was really made at the kids' race when Macy ran. So you can tell the story because you called it. I was just waiting at the finish line for her.
Oh, it's just so cute. So how old is Macy? 2.5?
2.5.
Okay, so adorable granddaughter of this one right here, and she takes off. It's what is it? 100 yards, 50 yards?
Not even. It's like 250 feet.
Okay, it's a short course, but anyways, Macy takes off, and I yelled out like, "Go Macy" or something, and she looks up at Rudy and she gives the princess wave like she's on parade, and then she ends up in Grandpa's arms. It was so charming.
It may become a marketing video for us. I have to get the rights. I have to pay her, but
well, that moment was only second to your grandson Nathan, has he even turned a year yet?
He is just a year and a month. He's 13 months.
Okay, so watching him crawl to you, and your granddaughter was, your daughter was pretty precious. Isn't that why you created the diaper dash, is because you had a granddaughter in diapers?
Well, my daughter saw the diaper dash. I got to give props to Canal Fest here. They had a diaper dash years ago, and my daughter was at it and said, "Dad, you need to add a diaper dash to this race." And I said, "What the heck is a diaper dash?" And I said, "Well, that sounds like a good idea." When she told me she was pregnant, I called Rich, the operations director. I said, "We're adding a diaper dash." And then my daughter had Macy, and that was her first race. And Macy 2 years ago, and she had the baby in November. And I said, that baby better be crawling by the time she's 6 months. So, and actually the diaper dash goes back to this concept of, 2 and under kids race, 3 to 8, 5K, family, family, family as we go through it. And I was really happy with the diaper dash this year because the first year it rained terribly, and we had to move inside because we didn't want the carpeting to get wet. The coolest carpeting in the world.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, for the diaper dash, Greg had a custom-made diaper dash carpet, and it looks like lanes for track athletes. It's so cute.
It has 8 lanes on it, and how far is it, Fitz?
26.2 feet.
Very good. That should be a trivia question. It's 26.2 feet, and the original vision was to put it right under the finish line and let parents get their pictures and their first medal underneath the finish line at the race. And we couldn't do it the first year. We had to move it inside. And this year we got the weather cleared, the road dried. We put it underneath the finish line. And when I saw my grandson, Nathan, at the finish line crawling and stuff, I said, this is where it's got to be. It's a great photo op for all the parents. And that was the thing about, that's another one. For 9 days before the race, we pivoted. We didn't have a diaper dash 9 days before the race. We didn't have a diaper dash 6 days before the race. It's sponsored by Children's Hospital again. And we had pulled it because there were fears about COVID and getting people all in a group. And I went back to the hospital, and we work in a partnership. It's not just me saying I'm going to put it back in. You know, Kaleida sponsors it, and I wanted to make sure I was true to my sponsors. And I begged and I pleaded, and I begged and I pleaded for like 3 or 4 days. And finally on Monday, the chief of staff, Mike Hughes, texted me and said, go for it. And come Saturday, we had 40 kids registered and doing it. So it was great.
So
and
cute.
they all get those cute little bibs that they can wear for food.
Real bibs. That's right.
Real bibs. That's their race bib for anybody who hasn't seen it. Check out the photos.
They're adorable. Precious, precious. So,
and it's free. Both those events are free.
Yeah, how do you not sign your kid up for that?
Capital FREE, free.
And will that remain for next year? Will it be free next year too?
You can go register online right now. They're both free.
Even if you're pregnant right now, about to give birth, you could set high standards for your baby. Just like it come out of the womb and you can say, listen, you got a race to train for.
Yeah, the first year the kids in the diaper dash got a bib, they got a medal, and they got a onesie. This year they only got a medal and a cool little acrylic medal and a bib. That's all we could pull together in 5 days. So
we did have some babies using their performance enhancing pacifiers during the race. I didn't know if that was legal or not, but
yeah, we're going to adjust the rules for that. I don't think that should be allowed.
There's some performing
enhancing. It's like holding your nose when you jump in the pool. It just shouldn't be allowed.
Right. You don't do that?
No.
Okay. All right. Moving on. And after that, if the kids and the babies weren't adorable enough, then we have our Ruffalo Stampede, which brings out about 200 of the most sweet and lovely, fluffy, 4-legged friends on the planet.
Yep. Got to keep the family involved. So, you know, we had started that race 2 years ago, and we had to move it this year because of construction. We'll probably put it back on the original course next year after all the streetscaping is done down there. But we had instead of 200 dogs, because once again, because of COVID, we limited it to 100. And I had people pleading to let them in, but we just didn't have enough supplies. We had to stop at 100. So next
year, this is my plea to you. I'm making a public plea. What if we got like 300 or 400 dogs and just you do waves? Because they're so nice and we have room. Greg,
if demand is high enough early on in the signups, we'll do it. But at some point, we got to pull the plug and order their bandanas, because the dog, of course, gets. Now the Ruffalo's not free. It's for the first 2 years. It was $25. This year we raised it to $30. But the dog gets a bandana. The dog gets a finisher's medal. And the owner gets poop bags.
Oh, poop bags, so nice. And they get like 75,000 milk bones, as I've seen. Everyone.
Yeah, we're very lucky. Milkbone is a sponsor, and every owner gets a big, I don't know, whatever it is, 7, 8, 10-pound box of milk bones that Milkbone is supplied very thankfully every year. Yeah. So it's been great. It's been a great partnership, and they love helping. Again, we go back to the first year. We sponsored a dog in honor of Officer Lehner, a canine, who is now, Patty is now the dog Her handler is Liz Baker, who is the supervisor of the K9 unit. So Patty's generally out working the race. This year she was out working the Toronto Blue Jays game, so she didn't make it. Right. He didn't make it. It's a he, sorry.
All right, so next year we have 500 dogs. Okay, moving on.
You get them signed up. We'll figure out a way. You know, the first year when they all showed up and they were barking, it was kind of mayhem. I had a little bit of a scare because the dogs didn't have medical, but now we've, you know, like everything, we evolved and we figured out we needed vets on site. And this year and last year we had vets on site just in case there were problems.
Okay, 2 things of note. It's a 1K distance, so even broken grandma can do it's 1K. It's like walking down the block. It's very short. And then number 2 is what I found with these dogs is they're so nice, and we have had no issues because I think the type of person that brings their dog to a dog race is also the type of person that invests lots of love and care and training to raise sweet puppies. So
and one of the greatest things is to watch them all around the water stop at the end of the race when they're all swimming in the pools.
So good. So 1,000 dogs next year. Buffalo spread the word.
Now we're up to 1,000.
Yes.
And we have the bark crawl. Don't forget about the bark crawl. BAR capitals K crawl that goes down to Chippewa, and the owners and their pets are welcomed on the patios down at Chippewa.
That's right.
And this year we had 4 rescues at each bar, you know, trying to promote their own rescues. So yeah, it was good.
If your dog likes craft beer, they can have some at the bark crawl. Okay, we are going to launch past this. We've got Patrick Beauchene, who is one of my highlights. He'll be back next year, but most likely going to stick to the half marathon. That's right. This was his first in-person full he did this year. He's going to run Dopey in a year and a half, which is exciting. Oh, and very sweet. I'm the biggest reason he's coming back, Greg. Did you read that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And his mother is going through cancer treatment, and I know she's going to be just fine. So I have faith she'll be there on the sidelines with you, Patrick, rooting for you as you cross that start and finish line. And Tom Dinder is sending both of you her best, or his best. So on race morning, Sunday, we have the full, we have the half, we have the relay athletes. Those athletes showed up ready for a good time, don't you think?
I definitely think they showed up for a good time. Most of them read the instructions and had safety pins that we didn't supply this year because we mailed the bibs. They definitely not only showed up, they also read a lot of the instructions. We instituted some new safety protocols this year for loading into the corrals. We didn't necessarily have to do it. We had it set up for COVID, but speaking with the operations director, he wanted to keep everything in place just as the race gets back to 8,000 people, gives us a little bit more control over the start area. So, you know, loading from Niagara Square will continue to be implemented. So it was a good year to give that a test.
Yeah, it all seemed to go very, very smoothly at the start. And of course, we had the massive American flag from the Buffalo Fire Department. And then we had endless amounts of fireworks, courtesy of Weber's Obsession and Mr. Fireworks, which is such.
I actually talked to somebody today that I had given a replacement jacket to, and it was his first half, and he said he can't wait to come back. I said, "Did you expect the fireworks?" And he said, "No, but it was awesome." So I think we're at about maxed out about how many fireworks we can do for length of time, but Matt does a really good job. I mean, if you watched it, it was a minute. I mean, that's really what it was. That's all it was. Besides the anthem, there's actually 3 things, right? We did Rockets Red Glare and stuff with the anthem, and then at the end of that, we did a minute of continuous stuff, which is really cool at 6 o'clock in the morning downtown. And then if you look at our pictures on Facebook and stuff, we have a picture of our start arch, which is one of the coolest things in the world, to see the start and to see the fireworks coming off the top of it. It really sets the stage, and really to be the first mass start back, I think it really is a stamp for this race. Disney does fireworks, but we do them better.
I think so. I agree with that. I agree.
They're in the dark. That's the only thing they've got going for them.
Hey, they got a lot of great things going for them, but this is, I don't know, you guys have something special going on. One of the things that the Big Sur Marathon does is they sell photos taken of the course, and Big Sur obviously is known for its course. I think that the start line photos you have with the fireworks, you could sell, and people would want to frame that and put that on the wall to make them think.
Yeah, I could talk. The one I have on my wall was actually taken by Jim McCoy, who's a Buffalo News sports photographer. Anybody who's been following the news has seen him. And, I had it printed on metal. It's an incredible shot. Jim is the guy who shot Josh Allen hurdling whoever it was in Michigan or Detroit, year one. So he's taken some iconic photos. He always seems to be in the right place at the right time.
You know what? One of his photos ended up in my book.
It ended up in your book, and then he has some friendly competition with another photographer, Joe Cassio, who is another great photographer and takes the electric tower. And Joe, I showed Joe Jim's picture, and it wasn't, I don't know, 5 minutes after the race started, and Joe sent me his shot of the start line, and he said, "How's this one?" And I have to admit, Joe got a really good shot, and we actually used that in a post on Facebook. It's actually on Facebook right now after we got the race started, and that's from Joe Cassio from Collide. It's an incredible shot.
I think you should partner up with these photographers and make some of the prints available, because I think people would love that. People who love this race, those photos are incredible. It's a good idea, says me. Okay, so we have an incredible start. Our athletes are super pumped up, very energetic, very enthusiastic, which Rudy and I really enjoy, because we're there for not only structure and security, but fun. And we love the fun people. We had a lot of fun people. And then the fun increased dramatically at the finish line.
Well, what actually amazed me was, what was her name? That girl that came from Florida in Gasparilla?
Katie? Oh, no, Beth Kent. Beth. Yes.
Yeah. And when I talked to her about a mass start, she said, they're not doing this in Florida.
They are. They have.
Well, don't contradict me. She said they're not doing it in Florida. So I was like, oh, really? So wherever she was racing, they weren't doing it. So it was incredible to see everybody lined up, and, there was still social distancing going on. It wasn't that everybody really packed in. They still gave each other room. But when you said go, I mean, it was nice to see everybody go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think just runners in general, it's kind of weird, because the race will be about starting, like, come up to the front, and people just kind of awkwardly loiter, like, get out here.
Yeah, you invited them to the front, and I went to the front, and I said, okay, guys, just so you know, there's fireworks on that arch, and they all stepped backwards. No, you're okay. They're indoor fireworks. We only fire indoor fireworks, so you're good.
Yeah, they were safe.
Close proximity. They're called close proximity fireworks.
For all our runners out there, when it's time to start the race, move towards the start line. Don't be awkward. And then, runners like each other, but we got to get a little close sometimes. So then we moved to the finish line, and
hold on. At 5:30, what happened? We had a special start at 5:30.
Oh, that's right. We did have a special start for a racing chariot, the duo of Joe McMahon pushing Larry Lewis in the racing chariot. And Larry is an accomplished Ironman athlete and marathoner who had a stroke 4 years ago, and he's working his way back. Next year, he's hoping to actually do hand cycle, but Jim McMahon pushed him the whole 26.2. I thought
had never done it before.
It's hard work. It's hard work for both of them.
Yep, they asked for a start earlier to make sure they could get in under the cutoff, and guess what? They weren't last. They were out there. I think Larry was out there whipping Joe to move faster. And when they got to the finish line, what happened? As we talk about recap of the race weekend.
Yeah, so that was a highlight. They came through to the finish line. They approached, and Rudy and I welcomed them, told everybody who they were and what was going on. And Joe pushed Larry about 4 feet in front of the finish line, and Larry wanted to walk across it. So I was able to get in on helping Larry out of that chair, and he got behind his own chariot and walked across the finish line, which is magical.
Goosebumps. I mean, the stuff that goes on at the finish line is just, it takes my breath away every year.
Well, you know what? And as I've mentioned before, I'm doing the Boston Marathon. This will be my first marathon, and I committed to it thinking, oi, marathons are hard, right? And I've only done half marathons moving forward, or in the past, but I thought, well, I've witnessed so many incredible people do full marathons, people who were 90 years old, people who were morbidly obese, people who had no legs doing full marathons. So if they can do it, I can do it too. And then you take it a step further to watch these two work together for 26.2 miles, and watching Larry get up out of that chair really gives me the confidence that I can do hard things.
And you should really talk how you got into Boston, since you're saying it's your first one. So
yeah, so I was invited by Vince Varallo, who's in charge of the Boston Buddies running group, and it's a charity called Second Step for domestic violence survivors, helping them break free and move forward in life, which I'm really grateful for. If anyone wants to donate to that cause, it's on my personal Facebook page. But the thing that pushed me over the edge and made me agree to do this was the fact that I had a not so fun bout with breast cancer a couple years ago, and I don't think ever in my life anything will be considered difficult again. After that, I hate to say I'm fearless. You know, I fear losing my children, for example, but other than that, there will be no physical challenge that terrifies me. So, but yeah, it was certainly good reinforcement, great inspiration to see these two make 26.2 happen. I feel excited about my opportunity coming up in October.
So, as you go to the finish line, and we talk about, it was warm, right? Everybody, we reminded everybody it wasn't a PR day, and we look at the course, and we're very fortunate that we have 18 aid stations out there staffed by nurses from Kaleida, 4 of them. And for people that don't know of our aid stations, I mean, they're fully equipped. They have AED, they have everything they need. They were very happy they had pickle juice this year. That was the new addition. And man, they were pushing the pickle juice.
Wait. Is somebody going to offer me pickle juice in October? Am I going to be expected to drink pickle juice in October?
I can't speak for the Boston aid stations. I can find out, but if you like, I'll go to Wesley and hold up pickle juice. And
give me a pickle, but I don't want to drink the juice. Anyways, go on. That sounds creepy.
So, I mean, the nurses at Kaleida have a plan, so everybody knows, as we talk about our coverage, at least 2 of the people at those aid stations can run a half a mile or a mile. So if somebody goes down, they're able to take a go bag and get to them in no more than a couple minutes. So we have a lot of coverage, and I have to recant. I said, I would put our race up against any race in the country for our medical coverage, because we have 20 or 30 or 40 doctors at our medical tent, and I can talk about that a little bit. But I did talk to Dave at Boston, and they do have a medical station every mile. So if I'm going to equal Boston, I'm going to have to add some more, but I think we have more than enough coverage. So, and our medical tent is another shining testament. Our ER doctor oversees, from UBMD, Brian Clemcy. He oversees emergency medical services at the Bills game. He brings in his fellows as a program, and then the fellows bring in their residents, and then the following year the residents become fellows and bring in their residents, and he's got, I don't know, 30 doctors in that medical tent. So, and we had 8, I think the number was 18 people went to the medical tent, and there were no transports to the hospital.
That's fantastic. And it looked like most of our medical practitioners next to the tent were pretty bored that day, which is what we like to see.
That's the way we want them. We want them bored. But the interesting story that came out of the medical tent was, there were 2 that came out of the medical tent. The first one was, we had 1 transport during the day, and our plan is, depending upon the situation, if we pick somebody up off the course, they come to the medical tent before we send them to the hospital. And for people who are unaware, we don't want to overwhelm our hospital's emergency system. So Buffalo General actually called us in the morning and said, please don't send anybody over here. It's very, very busy. So, I mean, there's lots of communication going on around the day. But so we transported 1 person off the course to the medical tent from the 20K mark. And later in the day, he looked at Rich, who was riding around the course on his bike, and he said, were you the guy that helped me on the bicycle? And Rich said, yeah, how are you doing? He goes, I'm doing great. I finished in 5:45. And Rich said, what? He goes, yeah, after they got me straight in the medical tent, and I don't know if they gave him an IV or whatever he did. He goes, I walked back out to the 20K and I finished the marathon.
Wonderful.
Well, I don't know if it's wonderful or not. I said, I have to talk to Brian about a new rule that we take people's bibs away if we put them in the medical tent. We don't want them going back out and having further problems. But for him, that was a testament to grit.
I was just going to say, wonderful, the spirit of our athletes. They're unstoppable, right?
Right. And then the other story that came out of the medical tent was there was a guy laying there. I don't know what he was, 45, 48. And that, who is it? Marie, is that her name? Let's see. Yeah. Marie Bartoletti.
Yeah.
So Marie Barletti is a 75-year-old stroke survivor from 5 years ago and has run, I don't know, 512, I think she said, 512 marathons.
Yes.
And she's done Ironman Kona, and she's 75. And she's a great salesman because I bought the book.
Yeah.
She signed it for me, and I said, I'll send you some money. And she told me what she accepted. And so I sent her the money, but I said, how'd you do? And she said, I did okay. But whoever the 48-year-old was, she looked at it and said, I was pacing him and he slowed me down.
Oh.
So yeah, she was a piece of work. So another great person to meet, on the course.
All right. So a couple of other my highlights. Mike Sternfell. So Mike and I know each other via social media, and he's been telling me about his participating in the full marathon. His first full in-person race was Buffalo Marathon. Mike has lost 382 pounds.
Incredible. I saw him. I couldn't believe it. He looked great crossing the line.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to show you a before picture he sent me. So Mike's going to be a guest on the Fitness Show, which is my broadcast I do a few times a week. And he's going to be a guest to tell us how he lost the weight. Jeez Louise, where is he? But he sent me some photos. I went, holy mackerel. Serious. There he is.
Yeah, he was an inspiration for sure. And I go back to the medical tent. I visited with a lot of people in the medical tent, and I said, what did I do wrong? Why are you in here? And they said, turn down the heat. So, holy cow. I haven't seen that picture.
Yeah, so this is Mike before, and then 382 pounds later. I've got a couple new pictures. This is him running at your race. What a difference, right?
Yep.
Incredible.
One step at a time.
Yeah, and so I greeted him warmly at the finish line when he had enough energy. When he came up and I gave him a hug, he picked me up and spun me around, and I thought, oh, Lord, this guy's got some real energy left. That was impressive. And what's even sweeter is his dad was taking video footage of his entry to the finish, and I interacted with Mike lately. Later I said, how was your dad? And he said he cried the whole way home. He was just so proud of his son. Almost 400 pounds. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. Did he have surgery? Or was it all fitness and diet?
All fitness. Yeah. All exercise and eating habits. But we're going to talk about that Monday on my show. I don't know all the details, but I did ask the gist. And he said he tried a bunch of dumb stuff. And eventually he just learned to start watching what he put in his mouth and exercise.
And as I look at, as I, I've talked to you about these roundtables, and I think the more I think about it after we started the first one, and I had said to you, I want to do these, first I had said, from November forward, and now I'm leaning more maybe towards once a month with a different person. I think as we go through this kind of stuff and we talk about what we see, because we're there from 4 until 4 or 4 till 8, whatever the time is. Other people show up and go home. There's so much stuff going on that people just, it's dribs and drabs, and it's nice to share the accomplishments. And, it'll make some people just hang around. I know my kids like coming just to the finish line just to watch the finishers. I like the last, 2 hours of the race.
It's the best part of the race. And I don't feel disrespectful to our speedsters. It's the best part. The good stuff starts happening after we get over the hump of.
It's true, but we took away prize money this year because we weren't sure we were going to have a gun start. We didn't put it back, so we didn't have the traditional elites from New York City, and we had 2 people who had. I think the one kid had never run a marathon before, and he won.
That's right. I think I was told both champions, both the male and female champion, had never done a marathon before.
I wasn't sure about her. I know he hadn't, and so they got, and then they got really cool trophies we sent out to them too. So, yeah, it was a great experience. I love to see the local runners. And, they were pretty local. I love to see them, come in and win, and not have the guys, just race back to New York City.
Agreed. We got Alejandro Malagon says, thanks for working so hard planning this return to normal race. Despite the setbacks, the jacket and medal were absolute fire. Agreed. Super hot stuff. Buffalo marks my 35th marathon finish, 5th in New York. Hope to be back soon. So
where are you from? Where is he from?
Alejandro, let us know, but we expect to see you in 2022. I'm so sorry I have a puppy barking. He doesn't get this live broadcasting deal. Joey, shh. All right, Greg, you got to talk for a minute.
Because the dog's in trouble. Well, you put me on the spot. So, where are the children? Elmhurst, New York. Awesome. So you can be back next year. Are you registered for next year yet? Because it's going to be great. We're shooting our large number was actually in a hot year right now. Since Rich and I took over the race, when we started, we've doubled the size and participation, and have grown and grown and grown. And I don't know how many events we've added when we look at it every year. And, we're hoping to be back up over our max of 8,000 this year and get this race back to, you keep saying it should be 12. You and Rudy both believe it should be 12 and 15,000. So bring the fitness army and we'll do it.
That's right. So here's the deal is we know better, and I'm not suggesting you don't, but we announce some of the most incredible races throughout the country. We host Los Angeles Marathon, Big Sur, OC Marathon, Philadelphia, Route 66, the Disney races. We have them all under our belt. Buffalo is special. Buffalo deserves top billing on people's bucket list. And yeah, I think it's just about getting the word out, Greg. So anyone who's watching, anyone who loves this event, open your mouth, tell your friends how great it is. And here's the deal. You won't lose anything if the race grows. You'll just experience more of the inspiration, more of the hoopla, more of the fun that comes with a large event. Well, we're going to keep that small town feel, that personalization that we're very.
I call it big time feel, small town appeal.
That I couldn't have said it better. That's fantastic. Okay. So there's a couple of people I want to get to before we wrap this thing up. So Faustrina. Faustrina was our final half marathoner. And this chick was so much fun. She finished a half marathon in 6 hours, which is a really, really long time to be out there. But she showed up at that finish line bursting with joy and
tears.
Take her home. Huh?
And tears.
And some tears, happy tears. But yeah, she's like, I want Faustrina to live in my house because I loved her so much. Got a great big hug halfway down the finish line shoot. And man, did she celebrate her victory. And she's on a fitness mission, right, Greg?
Yeah, she and some of her partners actually this year, she contacted me. I first met her this year, and they asked for help in March amidst the COVID, actually in February, and they started the Harriet Tubman 5K. And one of her goals is to, and it's based on Michigan Avenue in Buffalo, out of the the oldest Baptist church in Buffalo, and she's gotten the pastors involved and over by the Freedom Wall. And her ultimate mission next year, and she just started moving, is there's two things at play here. One is next year, she and a friend, I think it is, are going to walk the Freedom Trail that Harriet Tubman walked, which is 690 miles. And Trina will tell you, she's no petite little runner. I mean, she's working really hard, and she's gotten faster and faster. Even though it was 6 hours, she's got a lot to be proud of. She originally signed up for the full. Not only did she sign up, she raised $500 for Heart to Heart to do the race. She asked me for a pass into the race, and I went, sorry, no. And she took it on, and she raised the money. And so she's going to do the Harriet Tubman walk, and we are now partnering and helping her, both Rich and I, promote her race. They launched this virtually. They got 300 people. But I love her mission because she wants to make, and I agree with her, the racing community more diverse. And she wants to teach people better eating habits. And she wants to drive into the more urban areas of the city. And I mean, I will support her all day long. I just think it's a great mission, and I'm glad she was there.
Yeah, yeah, she was a ray of sunshine, and she was gritty, and she's a gamer, and and that's actually what I could say about all of our athletes. I mean, to show up at the start line of a 13 or 26-mile race means you're a gamer, right? You're willing to put yourself out there, try something difficult. And, we know it takes grit from all of us. Even if you don't hit the wall, I look at these athletes that can run 6-minute miles for 26 miles. And I think, I don't understand that. And I'm a lifelong athlete. So yeah, she's a good representation of all of us. And
I give her feet more credit than the people who can run 6-minute miles for 26 miles. For her to stay out there, not only that, and we just to clarify, our course has a 6-hour time limit, and it's really 3 hours for the half. And we have a sweep vehicle that will, they pass you, because we have a responsibility to open the city back up.
right.
We can't close the entire city for 6 hours. So at a certain point, the sweep vehicle passed her, and at that point asked her to move to the sidewalk, and things start to get taken apart. And I talked to her about it beforehand. She had a map. She knew the course. She had water. She was totally self-sufficient out there. I mean, we had aid. There were people out there watching her. I think she actually had an ambulance follow her in at one point, or one of the swag vehicles. But yeah, she gets major props. She earned every piece of her medal in her jacket. Her jacket's actually in my car.
Good. Well, you know what? When someone sees you or I do a marathon, they may be like, "Oh, those are those runner people. I can't do that." When they see someone like them, they may they're a lot more inspiration, and the fact that they can identify with the person gives them a little more confidence.
Well, and I don't think she would be mad at me for telling this story, so I'm going to tell it. I was talking to her. We were talking about her mission and her goal about eating healthy, and we got her hooked up with the Adult Foundation at Kaleida, because there's a lot of people that work at the hospital, the hourly workers that are from the neighborhoods. And I mean, the Adult Foundation and Carol get props. They gave them 50 entries to the race to share with staff. But we were talking, and we did a Zoom, and she goes, "Oh, you're one of those runner athletes." She goes, "You like your lettuce." She goes, "I like my mac and cheese." But she owns it, and she said she's eating healthier and she's doing great. I've made a lifelong friend, so for sure.
I'm envious. I hope to connect with her too. Again, I want to have her on my show because I want to hear more. We have Mr. Novotny, the junior Poobah, has piped up. We're definitely going 5 figures as far as participants next year. I believe that. Yeah, it's a must-do race. We're going to bring the Noisy Nation out, Greg Weber.
Bring them on. We'll give them a party like they haven't seen, and then they'll say, "I got the 2 best announcers in the business."
For starters, yes, you do. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's talk about next year, because we're hitting the hour mark, Greg. Next year, we're bringing the jackets back for every athlete.
We don't have the design yet. I talked to the company today. I told them to put their graphic artists on it and start working on the design. So we're going to bring the jackets back. All
right. And then we've talked a little bit about having a pre-race party downtown. What you got going there?
It's funny, and a lot of people knew about it last year. I mean, generally about 6 months out from the race, people will start calling my committee and saying, "What's new for this year?" Because every year we've added something new. There's a whole story about that. But the thing that we were not able to pull off in 2020 because of this has become a weekend event. When we took over, it was really Friday, Sunday, a couple of races, a little bit of an expo, and a little kids race. We've grown it and grown it and grown it. When we took over, it was the second year for the 5K, and the first year the 5K was on Sunday. We moved it back to Saturday. So Friday night is a night that we still have a little bit of room to cram some stuff into. And we have the pedal party that happens on Friday night with Slow Roll. They do 13.1 miles, and then they go under the finish arch, which has become tradition for them for 5 years.
For those who don't know what it is, you bring your own bike, your own helmet, and you ride 13.1 miles with a group, and then you
at about 8 miles an hour. Okay. And if you're visiting in town, we have those Reddit bikes that people can rent. But the big thing that we tried to pull off was a Friday night happy hour on Chippewa. down the street from us at Chippewa and Franklin. We were working with Chris Ring and Jay Mono, Chris from the Rec Room, who does a lot of the performances. And the idea is simple. We want to give everybody that's downtown on Friday night a place to gather. Try to figure out if it would be the world's largest happy hour. And to kick it off, the plan is to put a band at the Chippewa and Franklin. And this year, when we say band, Chris was working on national recording artists. So I know everybody's going to say, get the Goo Goo Dolls, get the Goo Goo Dolls. I know Robbie. I said, well, I know Robbie too.
The Goo Goo Dolls.
The Goo Goo Dolls.
Goo Goo Dolls is from Buffalo. So if you don't know this, that's
the Goo Goo Dolls are from Buffalo, not just Robbie. They are from Buffalo.
All right. Well, there you go.
So Robbie lives in town, and rumor has it during race days, he can often be seen riding his bike around on the course. Robbie's a great guy. Maybe someday. I mean, they have their own, they go out on tour. That's a bigger show than we might be able to do the first time. We're going to figure something out this year. Maybe it'll be a smaller act, but we're going to try to do it for 2022.
Okay, so 2022, Friday night, party in the street with a band and
fireworks.
And fireworks, all of the above.
Would I do anything without fireworks?
No, you have to have fireworks. And so that's a fun ad. And then in 2022, we're going back to Wonderful Expo. We'll have a full expo. That's sponsored by Excelsior. They're on board. Health and wellness, it's great. And then with the expo, we're also going to then add on Saturday, the pasta party at 3 to 5. We'll figure out who the speaker is going to be. That's sponsored by Chefs, the premier Italian restaurant in Buffalo. So they bring their sauce, and it's just a great. 2019 was the first year for Chefs. It was sad we couldn't have them again. It was actually a good year for COVID. When you look at what was going on downtown, convention centers closed, under construction. Franklin Street is under construction. Chippewa is under construction. Coming back in 2022, all that stuff's going to be done. Okay.
So, and speaking of construction, I got to give a shout out to the construction workers and the crews working on Franklin Street, because we closed Franklin Street on Friday, and they went down there painstakingly and made the entire area as safe as could be for what they were filling in holes that were not their responsibility. They said, we're in this together. We're glad to see this is back. I mean, we have a great community. I mean, we're blessed to be in this community. People don't realize how hard people actually work together. So, and I'm blessed to, be the steward of this race.
Yeah, you are. The ringleader.
Yeah, I got a hat. Wait, they gave me a hat. I got my hat.
Oh, I wish I had my Buffalo hat.
Yeah, so I got my hat. Your hat. So, and the story, and then we can wrap up. The story behind this hat, and I'm probably I am the one that drives a lot of this craziness. As we went through COVID and we didn't know what the race was going to look like. I said to my committee, I said, things are changing. We got to be flexible. But the one thing I can promise you, and I can promise the athletes, is we're going to figure a way to PT Barnum the shit out of this. And we did it again. So it's a testament to everybody. It's a testament to everybody that works for this race. So like I said, I'm so blessed. Yeah. I just point and say go, and they all go crazy.
I say go.
You say go. I say work harder, pick up that box.
Say go. After you say go. Well, you put on an incredible event. This is something to be majorly proud of. It always is. I mean, it really, when I tell people about the Buffalo Marathon weekend, it's always about the patriotism. I love the red, white, and blue on Memorial Day weekend. I love the joy and the camaraderie. I love the dogs and the babies. And you do put on a circus where we have something for everybody. And it's just a high quality event. The fact that you've added the sweetest swag in racing and you're going to keep it, that's a big deal. I could tell you that like Savannah Women's Half Marathon, they're known for their bags. So whenever you run a race there, you get a duffel bag or a backpack. And one year they didn't give out bags. They gave out bracelets. People lost their mind. Like, the world is ending. So I think now you're the jacket people. Congratulations. But I think people will come to Buffalo for the jacket and then experience all of the other amazing hoopla. But 2022, we're going bigger and better than even before. Hopefully a big concert Friday night, big expo, post-race party.
It's the jacket and the buffalo. We went one year where I think it was 15, the first year we did it, we went with a medal that didn't have a buffalo on it, and we got hammered. Buffalo is about the buffalo, right? So people want the buffalo. I mean, one of your cohorts in Florida, Heather Schultz just wanted she set the course record in Masters. She just wanted the trophy that had the buffalo on it.
Yeah.
Right. So it was all about the buffalo. And Lisa Bauer too, down in Buffalo. She wanted the buffalo trophy. So it's good.
I think all athletes should show up next year with some sort of buffalo headgear. Even if I think we need to make buffalo headbands, plastic. Even the guys can wear them. They got the little horns.
Look on that. Sell them from your website. Look at all the money you can make.
I don't want to make.
Everybody who's coming with Fitz gets a headband. So
make fun.
I know.
It's my fun idea, ringleader. Okay, Mr. Weber. Registration has already been open. It opened the day after the final finisher crossed our finish line. But tell us, where do we go to register for all the
BuffaloMarathon.org? Click the register button. We have over 500 people registered already, and that's across all of the events. It's across the 5K, the kids race, the diaper dash. We've already got dogs registered, the full, the half. The only thing that's not open right now is the heart-to-heart relay. And we do have one of the things that, as we talk about registration, when you see our prices went up this year for sure. I mean, it's been a couple years. We suffered our own pain for COVID. Yeah, I mean, Fitz and Rudy will tell you it's 85 for the half and 100 for the full. One of the things that I'd like to stress is when you see our prices on our website after COVID, the race is now absorbing the credit card and the administration fees. So if you see 85 on our website, that's what you're paying, $85. Is there a virtual race thing for next year? Haven't decided that yet. Jury's out on that one. I would like to keep it live, but maybe. So we're paying, if you see 85, you're paying 85. The only time you will not see $85 is when you buy something from the store or what you buy, and they have to charge sales tax. So sales tax would be added. But I've talked to the merchandise company. Shipping is not. Shipping is included in the prices. So we're trying to be very transparent with our prices so that people have an idea of what's going on. And it doesn't always register when they get to the checkout. They don't see that administration fee. We're very sensitive to protecting their entries. While every race pretty much has a no refund policy, and we have ours because we have expenses all year long, we have also added cancellation insurance to the race, which is not a cheap thing. So if for some reason the race were not to go off and we're covered for nuclear threat, terrorists, heat, snow, we're not covered for pandemic right now. That has been removed from the policies, but we've added that to protect the athletes. And anybody who wants to guarantee themselves a refund, they can buy the race insurance for $8 and they'll get a full refund. So we've removed the fees from deferring to the next year. We want to get you to the start line. We're doing everything we can to work with people. So come register. You're safe.
When will you start looking for pacers?
For what?
Pacers. Alejandro wants to know.
I'm probably closer to November. But what I was going to say, yeah, we'll be looking for pacers. They get to run for free. We have this concept for heart to heart with our premier sponsor, Kaleida. And we were very proud this year, our second year of doing this. We raised over $207,000 for the best in cardiac care at Gates Vascular and Buffalo General. We had over 300 people, and I think 270 of them hit the fundraising goal. If you think that $85 or $100 is too much, you can register for this race half or full for $25, and your only requirement is to raise $500 to get your bib. And as of right now, I think there's 6 people that have already signed up. And Luke, who is amazing, he's the godson of Rich Clark, our operations director, had open heart surgery when he was 3 or 4. He signed up in 2019, raised $2,500, could not run this year because he needed back surgery. He signed up again. We deferred his entry because of all the money he raised. And he said, no, I'm signing up again. He's already raised over $500.
Yeah, if you have a year to raise $500, I have full faith you'll get it done.
Yeah, it's not hard. I did it. I raised 1,000 last year. Um, there's a lot of tools available, so you can run this race for as cheap as $25. And
Yeah,
you get the jacket and the medal. You get everything. You get all the glory, all the fanfare. We make it affordable for everybody, some way, somehow.
excellent. Well, it's an incredible event. I'm super proud to be a part of it. Cannot wait till 2022. We encourage everyone out there to register ASAP. You get the best prices. We know you're going to come back anyway, so you might as well register now and then tell your friends, because the bigger we are, the bigger we are. We get to add even more bells and whistles and hoopla with a larger field of athletes.
Without a doubt. And thank you, Fitz, for being part of it.
I love it. Thank you for having me.
And thank you too, Rudy, if you're watching. He probably doesn't remember he's watching.
Oh, that's Niagara Falls will do that to you. Slowly I turn. Oh, and I already have some of our Noisy Nation has registered. They're like, we want in next year. So big meeting. We're going to do something special for our Noisy Nation, our runners. When
we could arrange a Noisy Nation party on.
Very much.
You know, I mean, Douglas Development is in the throes of trying to get the Hyatt back open. They're going to do a lot of remodeling, and hopefully they'll be done in the first quarter of. I just read that before I started this in 2022. So hopefully we'll be back. No offense to Embassy Suites, they did great for our crew, but the Hyatt has been our host hotel for years, and my intent is to go back there again. I think they do a great job, them and their staff.
And yeah, Embassy Suites was wonderful too. But yeah, Noisy Nation party for certain. Oh yeah, that was covered. Joe Buckle, who we love. Joe, the course is going to stay the same next year, so you'll know where you're going. You won't get lost.
If you're not sure, follow the car with the lights on it.
That's right. Don't get lost. Just follow the guy in front of you. Thank you, Greg. You're extraordinary at what you do, and I think we have thousands of happy athletes.
It's a labor of love, and for people who don't know, this is not my full-time job, right? It's my full-time hobby, so that's how we roll.
Yeah, and then we're going to be doing more of these, and in fact, we've had quite a few training questions. So I think moving forward, we should start helping them prepare for next year. Get a jump on it.
Yeah, if they want to submit ideas on Facebook or email information@buffalomarathon.org, topics they'd like to see us cover, we'll bring people in, whether you want to hear from somebody like Dave McGilvray from Boston, or training, or doctors. I mean, we had a great session a little while ago with the docs, and one of the docs and the PTs from Excelsior. There's a lot of things we can talk about. I could talk all night long about the little things that we put in the guide that people just aren't aware of that are available in the race.
Okay. Well, we've got a year, and we got 11 months, right?
Right.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Greg, love you.
Yep. Peace out. It's been great.
All right. Bye, Buffalo. And remember how we leave the show, Greg. You got to dance.
No dancing. I haven't had dinner yet. No dancing. You